Hello, my name is Rusty West, and I am the president and co-founder of MarketScan Information Systems. Before we get started, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone and thank you for taking the time to join this workshop. We are excited for your interest in learning more about MarketScan, why we exist, how we do what we do, what our scope of services include, and how we might help make a difference for you. During these trying and unprecedented times, our greatest concern is for our families, our team members, our clients, and our communities. Our thoughts, prayers, and hopes go out to each and every one of you. Every day, I speak with people about our industry and often have the opportunity to demonstrate our products and services. Those interactions are my favorite part of this job. A workshop such as this one is a bit more challenging because it lacks the personal exchanges that naturally occur during a demo or in a session with an audience. My goal is for everyone to enjoy it, and most importantly, take something away that you can use to help improve your business. 5 months ago, shortly after the COVID-19 crisis began in this country, we released a white paper entitled The 5 Facts of the Digital Transformation and What They Mean for You. Little did we know in January just how quickly digital retailing would become vital for the automotive industry. In the white paper, I cover the 5 facts of digital transformation and what they mean for you. Number 1, big data without science is just noise. Number 2, those widgets won't carry the day and they may make things worse. Number 3, stepping back is the first step forward. Number 4, the journey must be made with partners who get it. And number 5, the consumer will drive change. Given the reaction to COVID-19, it's more important than ever that you grasp the information covered in the white paper. If you would like a copy, please just shoot an email to rusty@marketscan.com and I'll send one to you. For today's session, I will focus on the last of the 5 points. The consumer will drive change. I will expand to illustrate how you can be successful with your digital retailing efforts, avoid the most common and costly mistakes, and actually thrive. To begin, it's important to point out that one of the major concerns among consumers is their inability to shop for a car online and seamlessly complete the transaction at the dealership. Consumers simply don't understand why the monthly payment they were quoted online is different when they get to the store. Are they being unreasonable to want it to be the same or even perfect? And why is it that they can visit one dealership and be offered a $25,000 car and go to a different dealership and be offered a $45,000 car for the same amount down and the same monthly payment? There's no great mystery. The winner in this contest has more effectively deployed science, technology, and data to ensure their offer meets a customer's need while remaining profitable. So let's jump in. In the next 25 minutes, I will cover some of the pitfalls of digital retailing and the dangers of not avoiding them. We will also introduce you to tools and strategies to assure you don't fall victim to these avoidable pitfalls. I will explain why MarketScan, and I will show you how your business can absolutely thrive in this new digital retail environment. We've been in this space for over 3 decades, and we feel a bit like the Farmers Insurance commercial. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. One of the most important lessons we've learned is the gateway to proper digital retailing is getting the pricing and payments right from the start. If you don't get that right, nothing else matters. Historically, the number one customer complaint on CSI cards has been the sales process took too long. Today, the data shows an increase in customer complaints stating that the payment quoted online was much lower than the actual payment. This is one of the biggest problems in digital retailing. We've all experienced the horror story of a customer getting quoted $300 a month online when it should have been $400 a month. Once that consumer makes the quote-unquote clicks to bricks transition, we have a mess. The tragic part is, this payment disconnect is rarely the dealer's fault. You see, not all digital retailing solutions are created equal. Many do not properly represent the terms and conditions under which each individual dealership is willing to transact. This is a big, big problem, and only half of this problem is in the forefront. We just spoke about quoting a consumer a payment that's $100 a month too low. What about the consumer who gets quoted a payment that's $100 a month too high because your digital retailing vendor doesn't have access to your most competitive programs? You will miss business you rightfully should earn because you are not being fairly represented. The good news is there's a simple fix. In order for the simple fix to work, all we have to do is take absolutely everything into consideration. Simple isn't always so simple. Don't worry, the good news is the hard part is already done for you. Before we dive in, I think it's important to lay a bit of a foundation. MarketScan was founded in 1988. Even though we've been around for over 3 decades, we behave like a startup business by continually pushing the technology envelope. We are privately owned and operated. Our headquarters are located in Camarillo, California, about 50 miles northwest of Los Angeles. We like to tell everyone we're 2 hills past all the crazy people. We provide solutions for 4 verticals within the automotive space: retail dealers, lenders, manufacturers, and technology companies, both consumer and dealer facing. And we have tremendous coverage in all 4 verticals. For this next segment of our workshop, I'd like to explain our philosophy on life. In order to do so, I'm going to share with you 2 video clips of extraordinary people who have shaped the way we approach business. The first is Simon Sinek. Start with why.
I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this: we make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Meh. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one?
I love Simon's message, and I've never seen anyone drive his point home better than Michael Jr. Check it out.
So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow.
That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now, right now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Let's go. Now. Okay. Here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
Every time I watch that clip, I get chills. I'd like to share with all of you MarketScan's why, how, and what. MarketScan lives to evolve automotive commerce by combining science, technology, and data to transform the industry. That is our why. How do we achieve our why? We employ agile development techniques to electronically aggregate manufacturer, lender, municipality, and dealership data, and we harness the power of cloud computing to calculate hundreds of millions of penny-certain payments every day. What do? We provide scientifically perfect solutions for any conceivable automotive transaction. In fact, our company was formed on the premise that there is only one scientifically perfect solution for any automotive transaction, and any solution that is less than perfect has a negative impact on 4 sectors of the market. That's the consumer, the dealer, the lender, and the manufacturer. And from the consumer's perspective, any solution that is less than perfect has one of 3 results. The consumer is either paying too much per month for what they're driving, they are driving a lesser vehicle than what they could afford, or they simply pass on the transaction because it doesn't fit their budget. For the dealer, any solution that is less than perfect invariably results in lost revenues and overlooked opportunities. For the lenders and manufacturers, imperfect solutions result in lower profitability and lost market share. In order to calculate a scientifically perfect solution for any conceivable automotive transaction, we must artfully combine science, technology, and data. So let's break them down. Science. We have built the only legitimate calculation engine in the industry that is easily accessible through a simple-to-integrate API. From a technology side, our solutions are based on modern development languages. They're cloud-based, scalable, and capable of calculating hundreds of millions of payments every single day, which in fact we do. And from the data side, there are 5 classes of data that must be taken into consideration. And that's the consumer, the manufacturer, the lender, the municipality, and the dealer. And the consumer is the wild card. Each shopper has their own appetite for a particular vehicle, credit profile, budget, driving habits. But the other 4 classes of data are highly trackable, and we track all of that data in an electronic fashion. We have combined the information we receive from lenders, OEMs, and dealerships through the relationships we've forged over the past 30 years with technology we have spent decades perfecting. The net result is the most accurate, comprehensive, and timely data set in the industry, from which everyone involved in automotive commerce can benefit. So let's touch on each of these classes of data by underscoring how we can eliminate the pain points that each stakeholder in these groups experiences, largely because they don't yet take advantage of the science, technology, and data available to them. For the manufacturer, we track all the basics: year, make, model, trim, description, cost, MSRP, weight, shipping, gas guzzler, EPA mileage, bore, stroke, number of cylinders. I know it's a mouthful. We also track all the complex data associated with the manufacturer class, which is the rebates and incentives. And they include automatic rebates that automatically apply to every consumer, but are dictated by the type of transaction. These rebates may also vary based on the option packages associated with any particular vehicle. Then there are the conditional rebates. The four most common are college graduate, military, repeat or loyalty customers, if you will, and conquest. But there are literally billions of dollars of other conditional rebates that are just waiting to be utilized. For the lender class of data, we track every parameter, policy, and factor that can influence a lease, finance, or balloon note program for every new and used car from every lending institution in the country that has a published program. This class of data consists of two segments, soft numbers and hard numbers. And the soft numbers are credit related. So we can take credit information as basic as a credit score to as comprehensive as a combined 3 credit bureau pull and compare it against each lending institution's published buying policies and practices to determine if there are any hurdles that might prevent a particular transaction from being approved. And if there are, what those hurdles might be. They can be as basic as not enough time and area to something as difficult to overcome as a non-discharge bankruptcy or a combination of any number of things in between. Then there's the hard numbers, which are all of the elements that are necessary to calculate even the most complex of transactions. Rates, residual values, security deposit policies, zero security deposit multiples, however you want to look at it, high mileage penalties, low mileage enhancements, maximum advance, maximum down payment, maximum rate markup, paid reserve, and this just to name a few. There are many, many others. For the municipality class of data, we track all laws, rules, regulations, calculation methodologies, tax percentage rates, and registration fee calculations for every inch of the country. The last and most overlooked class of them all is the dealership class. We empower every dealer to dictate the terms and conditions under which they are willing to transact. They can tell us which lending institutions they have available for their customers, what fees they charge, their selling price rules based on year, make, model, trim, lot age, and how they interpret tax laws. This one usually gets some funny looks. Counting Washington, D.C., there are 51 markets in the United States, each with their own unique rules. Of them, 13 have tax laws that are relatively black and white. The other 38 are somewhat vague and ambiguous. Some dealers take a highly aggressive approach in their interpretation of these tax laws, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are those dealers who take a very conservative approach. The two different approaches generate vastly different monthly payments. You might be thinking to yourself, great, MarketScan does a lot of stuff. So what? So let's list your pain points by class. For the manufacturer class, almost every dealer in the country has experienced an inability to collect rebate and or incentive money from their OEM because of the misapplication or improper combination of rebates. When this happens, there are two options. You can rewrite the contract, that always ticks off the customer, or you can take the difference out of the gross profit. Manufacturers spend billions of dollars each year on incentives to move inventory. Traditionally, the OEMs go through a labor-intensive process to analyze the data related to the effectiveness and impact of the incentive and rebate programs they are offering. This is done to determine how best to position themselves competitively and determine how much they have to spend to earn the desired market share. This process is time-consuming, mechanical, and unsophisticated. Decisions are often made on gut instinct without having all the facts. Not only is this very expensive and seldom accurate, it is also not timely and provides openings for competitors to step in and win their market share. What's worse, it doesn't have to be this way. We have developed tools and technologies to eliminate the guesswork. Our science and technology enables an OEM to design effective programs down to the local zip code level based on real-time market data. Then there's the lender class of data. Without exception, every dealer in the country has had contracts kicked for one reason or another. It's common for an average-sized dealer to have hundreds of thousands of dollars floating in limbo until these contracts get sorted out. The dealer has the same two options: rewrite the customer or lose gross profit. Much like the OEMs, many lenders are challenged because they are operating without taking advantage of available analytics tools. It doesn't have to be this way either. Using our M-Gauge analytics platform, lenders can instantly see and analyze every competitor's published lease and retail finance offerings in every market. They can then deploy highly targeted loan and lease programs to outmaneuver their competitors and win the market share. As importantly, they can do this without an army of highly paid analysts doing extensive manual work. These same highly paid analysts can be used on far more strategic products for the lender's benefit. Now let's look at the municipality class. The average dealer writes dozens, if not hundreds, of refund checks every month for overcharged DMV fees. These checks vary from 35 cents to a few bucks. It's not the dollar amount of the checks that's the issue. It's the time and expense to process them. That's what the problem is. Now, the dealership class. When we ask dealers what the biggest source of heartburn is in their online retailing efforts, they almost always tell us their customers are quoted inaccurate payments online. Oftentimes, even the payments on their own websites are wrong. This regularly leads to the consumer feeling as though they have been intentionally misled by the dealer. The combination of every class of data and the ability to make sense of it all is the cure for these pain points. Why MarketScan? MarketScan is the only company in the industry with the technology and capability to eliminate these pain points for you. So let's talk about proper digital retailing. For decades, little has changed in the way dealers sell cars to consumers. Conversely, advances in technology have dramatically influenced consumer shopping behavior. Companies like Amazon and eBay have redefined how we buy things. They provide us with instant gratification, which in turn increases our expectations. Now, I believe Amazon.com has become the standard by which all digital retailing efforts are measured. I suspect everyone here has bought lots of things on Amazon. I know I certainly have. And the process is near perfection. You select the items you want. You instantly know exactly how much they're going to cost. You click Purchase Now. Your credit card gets dinged the exact amount you expected. And if you're on Amazon Prime, the item shows up the next day. It's obvious that technology has made it easier to shop. But with that ease and convenience of shopping online comes a new standard and a new set of customer expectations. And mind you, the consumer has that expectation across the board, no matter what they're shopping for. While we're nowhere near a 30-second Amazon buying experience for a car, consumers' expectations are much higher than ever before. The transformation for the auto industry has been gradually underway for years. Now it has been rapidly accelerated, seemingly overnight, due to the shelter-in-place orders associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, nearly every company in our industry is focused on providing an Amazon-type car buying experience. Many existing companies are devoting massive amounts of resources, and currently, there are more well-funded technology companies entering the space than ever before. All of this focus on digital retailing could be considered the proverbial silver lining, if you will, in this cloud. But there's a catch. Not all digital retailing providers are created equal. If your digital retailing providers are not properly applying all 5 classes of data, then you should prepare yourself for heartache and disappointment. For the record, I'm not a big Grateful Dead fan, but I think the song Touch of Grey is apropos here. One of the lyrics goes, "Every silver lining has got a touch of gray." The touch of gray is the disconnect between some digital retailing efforts and the real world. At MarketScan, we have a saying, big data without science is just noise. If we're going to thrive in a digital world, we need to eliminate this touch of gray. In other words, we absolutely must combine science, technology, and data to give consumers what they want. Over the years, many experts have studied how consumers shop and ultimately acquire cars. Recently, the common thread was most consumers are price shoppers and payment buyers. While much of that still holds true today, more and more consumers are payment shoppers and payment buyers. At the end of the day, the consumer really doesn't care about all of the complexities that go into the transaction. They care about the results of those complexities, namely how much up front and how much a month for how many months. No two consumers are exactly alike. This means there are countless paths they may take when shopping for a new car. We must offer every consumer a consistent message at every point on their vehicle buying journey. During the second part of this workshop, we will discuss how to 1. Ensure the terms and conditions under which each dealership is willing to transact are respected and accurately represented. 2. Create a relevant digital retailing presence. And 3. Provide consumers with penny certain payments online that are identical to the payments that will be presented to them in the dealership. In other words, connect the dots and eliminate that touch of gray. Earlier, we talked about the negative impacts of imperfect solutions on 4 sectors of the marketplace. Those 4 sectors, coincidentally, are the 4 pillars of the automotive ecosystem: manufacturer, lender, dealer, and consumer. I changed the order because it's important to analyze each of them as they appear in the marketplace. If we look at retailing, regardless of the widget, we are reminded that in order to gain market share, we must essentially buy the business. It doesn't matter if we're selling cars, watches, or cell phones for that matter. The secret is not to pay too much for the business we want. Now, each sector of the marketplace has its own currency for buying the business they covet. The manufacturer, it's obviously the vehicle, but if we take that out of the equation for a moment and we assume that each year, make, model, and trim has a competitive year, make, model, and trim from a different manufacturer with similar costs and MSRPs, then the currency for the manufacturer is their rebates and incentives. For lenders, it's their payments. And for the dealer, it's the overall transaction. Now, for the consumer, it's their creditworthiness and budget. So let's look at the ecosystem from a utopian point of view. In a Zen environment, the manufacturers would be able to create highly targeted incentives and rebates to position themselves exactly where they wish to be in the marketplace. Our M-Scope product is designed to do exactly that. The lending institutions would be able to craft highly complex targeted offers that position themselves exactly where they want to be as well. That is where our M-Gauge product comes into play. The dealers would be able to analyze all of this information, apply their unique terms and conditions, and offer transactions to consumers that they will find easy to accept. M-Portal, M-Drive, and M-Desking provide that capability. Finally, the digital retailing providers would be able to accurately present the dealer's offers to consumers in a consistent fashion. M-Scan API is the only technology that makes that possible. So if you will, imagine this scenario. The manufacturer creates the perfect offering with lots of complexities. A lender crafts the perfect offer that is even more complex than that of the manufacturer. A highly complex targeted offer gets the consumer's attention and he says, yeah, that'll work. I'll take it. And the dealer has the ability to exactly replicate that transaction once the consumer shows up to take delivery of their new car. Here's the good news. This utopian environment exists today, and we would love to demonstrate this and assist you wherever we believe we might help. Thank you for joining me today. We welcome the opportunity to explore how MarketScan can help you with your digital retailing efforts. If you would like a live demonstration of any of our solutions, The next slide has all the contact information you need to set one up. We very much look forward to connecting with you.